Welcome, Priscilla, and welcome, Jessica, and welcome each one of you.
Gracias, Nicolas. Lulu and I are so happy to be here. Thank you for honoring us and giving us space to create this project and series. La Pelvis project is a project that I've been working and developed during my time at University of California, Riverside Dance Department. I'm a second year MFA student. Shout out to all my UCR people in the room. This project is to focus on La Pelvis. And so this series is a chance to discover different ways and movement practices that focus just on La Pelvis. And so I'm incredibly honored to have all these friends and facilitators that are going to be sharing the next 6 months with us. As we continue on in this gathering, I would like to acknowledge that as we're currently meeting through Zoom Universe, we, Lulu and I, would like to respectfully acknowledge the original and current caretakers of the lands of the indigenous peoples and all of their ancestors and descendants, past, present, and future. We are aware that the land we meet on was stolen land. We are grateful that we can continue to meet and share and create on this land, even virtually. We are currently on land that was stolen from the Munse, Lenape, and Wappinger, currently known as New York City. We were born and raised on the Seminole, Taino, and Tequesta, currently known as Miami, Florida, land, air, and water. We give credit and acknowledge their important work in our upbringing and will continue to inform ourselves and the communities we participate in to better support our thriving BIPOC communities to discontinue oppression, racism, colonization, and other forms of violence. We invite you now to name the land you're on in the chat. If you do not know the indigenous land name, no problem. We will share a link in the chat to help you learn. May we continue to empower our BIPOC communities and heal with kindness, friendship, and alliance. Muchas gracias. And with this as part of the healing work, I'm so incredibly honored, I and Lulu, to have this first gathering with our dear friend and hermana and soul sister, Jessica Garet. Yay! Like applause, sparkles, magic, yay! Jess and I have been friends for a long time, and I was immediately inspired by her work, her voice as a psychosomatic practitioner. And during this pandemic, we became even closer. She offered these breathwork circles through Zoom, and beautiful people would come together and we would do this breathwork together. And so I thought she is exactly the first person with her magic to be the first person to guide us in connecting and grounding into our bodies with La Pelvis and our breath. Jess, welcome.
Yeah. Wow, I'm just taking all of that in, huh? How about you? I got all sorts of warmth going through my body as I just was like, it's like a warm hug from Priscilla and Nicolas, the beautiful opening to this beautiful project. So, yes, thank you. Hold on, I was like, I want to stay with you, but I want to look at my land. So so I'm going to toggle in the sphere that I'm in to identify that I am in Tequesta Taino and Seminole land as well, which is a new land for me to inhabit. I was actually in the Astoria land, and so the land that you actually, I believe, because Bronx and Astoria, that land is very connected. So I believe the land that you first mentioned, the people that were on that land was my native, or where this body came to land, literally. Okay, whew, so much to say, but first, thank you, Priscilla, thank you, Nicolas, thank you all of you for being here. Thank you for the invitation to begin this journey together. I felt so honored when Priscilla invited me, and immediately found myself going, what? What do I know Yeah, okay. And so, you know, we all can encounter those sensations inside of us. But the gift of what Priscilla's offering had me do was that it had me reconnect to my pelvis even deeper than I realized. So that was such a beautiful gift. The like, oh, I've been doing this work, but if I have to center this work on this part of my body, what am I to learn and discover? So thank you for that gift. Thank you for the invitation to get to know this part of myself and then get to share what I know in some ways now connected to this new knowledge, this remembering. I too want to center something as you were centering land and as you were centering people. I wanted, before I kind of go into introducing a little bit more of who I am so you get to know me just a tiny bit more, I wanted to center our bodies. And I wanted to acknowledge that we are all here traveling in bodies, but our bodies come with a host of different experiences, ages, sizes, colors, abilities. We all arrive here today in these vessels with different knowledge, gifts, practices, and purposes. And my invitation for all of us tonight as we hold this space together is to try to hold it with compassion and grace. That I invite every one of us to bring respectful attention and just a drop of curiosity as you begin to explore your inner experience this evening with breath. So just looking around the room, our virtual room, to each other and just acknowledging each other's bodies in this moment, each other's, just feeling into the energy of what we're all collectively doing here together. And even though maybe some of us aren't visually on the screen, just feeling into the energy of where we are and all the lands that are being represented in the chat. Yeah. So a little bit about me, because I'm going to be spending time with you, but I'm going to be guiding you in a practice that's inviting you to be in your body. And so it's important, I think, when we talk about bodies, we talk about safety and trust. And so anytime I work with anyone or anytime I step into work with anyone, I need to figure out both, am I safe and can I trust them? And often that information comes both like with the presence of the person, but also what they're saying, what their intention is, where their heart is at. So a little bit about me. I'm, I am a woman. I identify as a woman. I am Latina. Parents are Colombian. I was born and raised in New York. Now I live in Florida just recently. These are all little check boxes and categories, but just so you know me, just a tiny bit. I'm consider myself a writer, creative, a vocalist. I'm a plant and animal lover. I'm an earth mama. I have a Virgo sun sign, and I have a Gemini moon and rising sign. So I'm both like earth mama and water, mutable. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a student and a teacher. I'm a client and a coach. I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse and trauma. I say that all because that is all what lives in this body. And the thing about all of that is that I didn't actually integrate all of what was here until I met my body fully. And there were many points, and I think we all can probably identify points in our life where we come into greater contact with our physical, emotional, and spiritual being. But for me, there was a point where I became really connected to this vessel, and that was when I was trying to create life, when I was trying to make a baby. And I had a lot of challenge, and I had loss there. And it was through that loss and through the difficulty of trying to do something that I thought was my given right to create life, that I came into contact with everything that was living inside of this body. And that loss and everything that sort of brought up inside of me was supported, the healing was supported by breath work. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was the force to return into my body with breath that helped me heal and also helped me identify what I was holding. I had cycles of coming through that. And when I realized was, I need to do this consistently. So I became, although I had been a licensed clinical social worker already for many years, I became really invested in certifying myself and studying breathwork practices and somatic experiencing or other somatic practices. Because truly what I recognized was this was helping me heal. And if I was going to hold space for other people's healing, then I needed to give what helped me heal, and I needed to learn it. And I learned it on the inside first, and then I learned it up here. And then I began to offer it. So as Priscilla began to mention, during the pandemic, when everything changed for all of us, I began to offer things virtually, both my own private practice, but also my breathwork practices. And I started creating these circles, and Priscilla and some of you have joined, some of you on here have been on those circles, and it's been incredibly powerful. So the other piece of this was, the other thing that's just coming to me is that the healing, the deeper healing, not only happened when I started to connect to my body, but also when I came into contact with people, with community, when I started to form community. And so that's another element of this, is what happens when we come together as people, when we show up with our most authentic selves, with our fear and with our bravery, and when we breathe side by side next to each other, intentionally, what happens? So that's a little bit about me. All right, now what are we here to do? We're here to talk about the pelvis and breathwork. Woohoo! I feel like I want to use LULU as like the hello. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, so one of the reasons for why I started to get into this, let's just understand a little bit about trauma and the body, okay, and what this vessel does. This body is a great tool for healing, and it has also the greatest capacity to store experience. And trauma truly means not necessarily what happens to us, because lots of things are always happening to us, and some things are much more challenging than others. But it's literally what trauma really is how what happens to us lives inside of this body as unmetabolized survival energy. This energy that gets stored inside of us requires an empathic guide and a witness to support and aid in its movement and liberation. So I say all of this because when we talk about the vessel as a container, one of the biggest vessels that we have, one of the biggest containers that we have in this vessel, I should say, is our pelvic container, our pelvic bowl. And our pelvic bowl is the beginning of everything. I'm going to get more into the specifics around the pelvic. All right, so here's the thing. I'm a therapist. I consider myself an intuitive healer. I'm a breathwork facilitator. I am not a biologist. I don't know the body. You talk to me in those medical terms, I got nothing. I mean, literally, that's not what I do. But when I started to read this book, that is a powerful book. It's called Spiritual Awakening, Awakening into Body and Soul. I can put it in the chat. The book I started to read literally when Priscilla invited me. I was like, all right, I want to know everything there is to know about this container in our bodies. What I came to know is like, it didn't matter that I didn't know any of that stuff. I know it from the inside. I know it from the inside. I can make contact with this container just with my inner gaze. I don't need to know the bones or the names of them or how they live in my body or the muscles that attach to them. I don't need to know any of that. So I'm just saying that to you all because like that's not where I live. That's not where my soul lives. That's not my knowledge base. That's a significant gap in my knowledge. That's not what I studied. But I know what it feels like on the inside. And that's what we're going to do here today is I want all of us to start to get to know maybe you already have an awareness and you just want to deepen it. Maybe it's a mysterious part of your body like it was for me, that you want to get to know better. And today that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it with a little bit of somatic inquiry and we're going to do it with breath. So this beautiful container that we have holds a ton. like a ton. And what it can hold here, and I'm not going to lose track here because I want to say as much as I can, keeping track of time. Okay, yeah, we're going to leave some time. So what it can hold here truly is our energy. It stores our energy. What lives inside of this pelvic container is our very beginnings, our very sacred self. It is our center of pleasure. It's from where we start, but it is also a place that can easily become, for so many reasons, so many more reasons than I can get into, congested, cut off, stuck, trapped, underexpressed, constricted. It can become numb. It can become a place of great pain. So we give grace to this beautiful container because it has the capacity to hold so much. But because of how we are conditioned in this world, in these bodies, we are often taught to cut away from it. And if our boundaries have been violated, if we have been harmed or hurt, if we have been shamed, if we have been taught to not love ourselves and not see pleasure as our birthright, then it will become a place that becomes the shadow. So it's also a place where a lot of energy lives. And when we think about energy, energy is movement, emotion is energy. We are meant to be in a state of flow, but we all know all too well that this flow can become congested, interrupted, shallow, constricted, stuck, and sometimes even imperceptible. When we look at the pelvis and we focus on it, what we're also kind of want to just notice is that there are two places in our body that are connected, the jaw and the pelvis. They are physiologically connected. There is, they are avenues of expression. They are linked as avenues of expression on both physical and verbal levels. So what happens when we are under expressing something, if you notice it, is you will be holding greater in your jaw, and you might be also constricting in your pelvis or in your anus or in your butt cheeks. You're grabbing on, and we do the same thing in our jaw. So this part of the body and this part of the body are physically, anatomically connected. They are actually what forms first in us. So in the first 15 days of our development in the womb, our cellular beginnings, the first place from which everything unravels is our perineum and the nervous system. So if we look at it, it's almost like we start off almost like if you've seen a seed and then all of a sudden this comes through. Our pelvis is almost like that little seed that begins first and everything unravels from there. So the spine and the head and the pelvis are our beginnings, and they're all interconnected. So we begin here. This is our sacred place, from tail to head, the sacral to the crown, the pelvis, mouth and jaw, the throat. This is all the beginning of our life. The spine and the nerve, they're the superhighway, our nervous system. It's the superhighway from our brains to our bottoms. So there's a lot of information here. There's a lot of places, again, where there's congestion here. There's a lot of ways, if we're thinking about how to come into contact, there's a lot of ways to do that. But the one way that I have found the most powerful is using both somatic inquiry, inner gaze, and we'll talk about that, what that is, and breath. Intentional, aware breath, especially when it's guided and invited by another, is a medium or a tool for liberating stuck energy. So, and these practices are ancient in their beginnings. This is, something we have to acknowledge. The ancient indigenous people were using breath all the time to liberate energy. They were using breath, they were using plant medicine. They were using bodies to heal. So our breath is it's our birthright. It's the first thing we do when we come into this world, is breathe. It's the last thing we do when we die. And it is what helps us to move things and connect to not only the energy stored inside of us, but our spirit. All right, so I can open it up if there's questions, but I know we're going to get into this breathwork practice, and I want to give plenty of time for it because we're going to be breathing together. And I want to just bring us to, I'm going to guide us into a little bit of attention into our body and into our pelvis specifically. And then we're going to do the breathing, and I'll tell you everything you need to know about this breathwork practice. But if there are, just as I'm wanting to pause here for a moment, notice I'm giving you so much information. If there's anything that's kind of coming in that you already have curiosities around, you can throw that into the chat. And if it feels like the right time, I'll answer it. And if not, we're going to save some time at the end to just do Q&A. But just putting that out there. And if nothing, that's okay too. All right, guys, ladies and gents, beautiful beings, genders, all genders, non-binary, all of it. As you're here right now, I just want us to get a little more connected to our bodies and our pelvis. So do whatever you need to do in this moment, however you need to do that, to just notice your seat. So right now I'm in butterfly pose, and because I'm inviting us to get into understanding and feeling the inner sense of our pelvis, I'm just gonna like actually shift my body a little. So as I do that, I invite you to do the same, just to kind of come into more contact with you in this moment. Now, in this practice, what I've begun doing is to come into better contact with my pelvis when I'm sitting in a chair. I move myself up a bit more away from the back of the chair so that my legs reach more a 90-degree angle. And if you're comfortable, what I want you to do is close your eyes and just begin to make inner contact. Just coming into the space of your body. And closing your eyes. And just beginning in this moment to just arrive into your body and greet your pelvis. Again, remembering that it's okay if you don't exactly know what that means in the mind version of meeting your pelvis. Just kind of beginning with breath and with maybe subtle movement to notice your hips, your butt. You can notice your thighs, your pubic bone, or the muscles right behind it. You can notice if you want to like arch your back to move your pelvis under you, or whether you want to kind of come in kind of like a cat, arching your back the other way and just tilting your pelvis in the other direction. And I just want you to just begin to say hello, to welcome it. Noticing from the inside this container. And you can sometimes, like starting with sometimes it's easier to start from the outside and work your way in. So you can start with kind of like your hip bones. You can bring your hands to them and greet your hips. Kind of give yourself a nice massage. You can notice how your legs grow out of this socket. You can kind of use your hands to track that. Notice the full extension of your leg. Again, making contact with your butt and your thighs and your knees. And, as we're bringing our attention and curiosity here, we're not asking it to do anything different. We're just making contact. You can slowly just begin to imagine that in this body, there is great movement, whether you're aware of it or not. There is blood pumping through you. There is breath moving through you. And there is energy traveling through your body. You can notice how the skin and the bones make contact with your seat and the floor. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing. And the temperature on your skin. You can notice how the skin and the bones make contact with your seat and the floor. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the temperature on your skin. You can notice the texture of what you're wearing and the tempera And you can just come back as you're like with all of the lower half of your body, you can come back and just begin to notice again this upside down triangle, this place of your beginnings. Sometimes when I want to come into greater contact with my pelvis these days, I literally make an upside down triangle and I just kind of place my hands sort of right in the creases there, right where my hip bones are. And then I point down into my pelvis, into my pubic bone. And then my thumbs just gently touch. And they kind of meet my belly button and my belly. And we're just going to be with all of that for a moment. Being with the mystery of what this part of your body holds. As I discuss, this part of us develops at the most beginning stage. Literally, we're tiny little cells. It is the point of all creation. It is a river of energy and light. Awakening to this energy that's stored and available here helps us gain greater access to our yes, right? When we can awaken to the energy that lives in here, it helps us get more connected to our yes. And it also gives us greater connection and a greater knowing of our no, our boundaries. And as I say that, you might just want to notice what that brings up inside of you. As I say that, like awakening to the energy that lives in here could both bring me more connection to my yes and a greater sense of my no. That in that, we might also wonder and hear that there are stories about yeses and nos in your body that carry energy. Where there is pleasure, where there is pain. This pelvis, this inverted triangle, is sacred. Our sacrum, which lives in our pelvic region, is a triangular bone, inverted, pointing downward. The downward pointing triangle is an ancient symbol of femininity, intuition, and divine creation. The triangle is connected to the number 3. The number 3 symbolizes wisdom, balance, creativity, and manifestation. 3 is also the number of time. It is the past, present, and future. It is birth, life, and death. It is a beginning, middle, and end. It is the maiden, mother, and crone. 3 is a number of the divine. In tarot, 3 is the card of the Empress, and the Empress stands for creation and growth. This is also the place of our sacral chakra, the sun, life force, divine energy, and vitality. It is the dwelling place of the self. It is the I feel element of our body. It is a yin energy. It is a space that can unlock answers, images, sensations, and wisdom. It is sensual, it is pleasure, it is sacred. It is the superhighway to our spiritual power and our greater remembering of belonging. There is so much that we can say here, and I could keep going. I shared with many of those I love when I was thinking about tonight's gathering that I was like, there aren't many books on this. And I understand why, because there's so much to say here. But beautiful beings, as you're just sitting here and making contact in this way, the invitation is that we're going to move now to breathing. So I want to guide you into just preparing for that. You can stay seated for this practice. You can lay down. Your body's going to tell you right away, again, if you're listening, your yes and your no around this. I choose to lay down for this practice because I choose to breathe in a way that has my body feel a lot. And so laying down helps me feel greater connection to the earth, greater support by the element of gravity. I can also move with greater freedom. And because we are going to be like kind of moving into the pelvis, it might help you be able to just access more movement. So if you're inclined to sit, feel free to do so. But if you can lay down, Wonderful. Now, as we prepare for this breath, the breath that I'm going to show you is one of many options, one of many. It is the breath that I'm going to show you is a breath that activates the sympathetic nervous system. So it gets things up and moving, but you can make a choice. You don't have to breathe the way I instruct. I'm going to give you other options. You can do inhales through only the nose and exhales through the mouth. So the breath that is activating is a two-part breath. It is a breath that comes first in through the lower belly, kind of right behind that pelvic region, your pelvic pubic bone right there, right in that under space. And then the next breath is going to come into your high chest, your heart space. And then the exhale is an open mouth exhale. So these are all open mouths. So I'm going to show it to you. It goes, now, right away, I do 3 breaths and I'm already feeling a lot of things. Okay. So you might try 3 breaths of that and go, this is crazy. No way. I'm lightheaded. My feet are tingling. My fingers are going. If that feels like too much for you, you're going to be with me for 40 minutes. You can always come back to that breath. Okay. If you want to just breathe the way your body knows how to breathe, breathe that way too. And just listen, because I'll be guiding you with a lot of instruction around your body. The other option is to do the same 2-part breath with the exhale, with your nose. So, okay. You're going to feel a lot of different things, and all of what you feel is okay. If at any point in time while you're breathing, you feel this is too much, and the energy coming through me and the emotion I am feeling is scaring me, know that you can do many things. You can definitely back off the breath and just listen. And you can use your hands. They are beautiful vehicles of containment. So grabbing and squeezing whatever parts of you need some touch, really reminding them that you are here to take care of you. Okay, you can squeeze that body. Yeah. You can put your hands on your head if you feel too much energy is escaping you. You can put your hands on your chest if you feel like your heart is hurting, letting your hands deliver messages of love. You can bring your knees up and your feet, plant them on the floor and just play with movement of your legs, just reminding you that there's ground underneath you. Okay. And you can always do any kind of micro movements just to help shake some of these energies out. We're going to laugh during this and we're going to scream during this. You can do both internally. You can do them externally. If you're going to scream and you got people in the other room that think you're in trouble, put a pillow over your mouth, put your hand over your mouth. You can also just scream on the inside because the body doesn't know the difference. It feels the same to them. So if you just think about screaming, if you just close your eyes and you go, trust me, there's a lot of discharge there, okay? You're going to feel it everywhere. But if you want to scream out loud, there's nothing better sometimes than like a real primal external scream. And we're going to laugh together. And I'm going to guide you into both of those things, okay? Both of them are really good discharge releases. If you notice your hands cramping up, because that can happen, open and close them, open and close them, open and close them. Give them love, give them squeezes, give them something to squeeze. That's just your heart talking to us. Because again, the heart muscle, the way it develops out and it makes our arms. Our hearts make our arms. The muscle of our heart makes our arms. Isn't that the coolest thing? So when we breathe and we breathe into a heart space that's holding a lot of fear, if our heart's not ready to let go, our hands are going to fight it too. And they're going to cramp up. They call it lobster claws. So just back off the breath and open and close your hands. All right, beautiful beings. I think we should get started. I am ready. Love, love, love to you all. I'm going to start the music. I'm going to guide us into the breath. And I am going to see you on the other side of this. Thank you so much for being here. Get this music loaded up. All right.
Embrace.
Here we go. I open this circle tonight in this practice, inviting the beings here that are here to support us, getting to know more the energy that lives within us. Mother Earth, Father Sky, ancestors, angels, animal spirits, all to guide us here as we come into contact in this community together to awaken to the energy stored in our bodies, especially the sacred energy of our pelvis. We begin to breathe together here, hoping that the breathing that we do together here heals all within us and all in the community around us. We know that when we come into this practice, into returning home to ourselves, we are not only taking care of ourselves, but we are taking care of this earth, this planet, this universe, and everything beyond what we could imagine. Beautiful beings, bring your hands over your heart space and your belly. And we're going to begin our breath together. Inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Welcome to your bodies, beautiful ones. Welcome to this journey. Can you meet your body with this breath and meet it differently than you ever have before? Whatever is here, welcome it. Know that when we begin something new, the energy of that new beginning is met sometimes with an equal and opposing force. Sometimes what we might notice as we breathe in this way together, as we begin to try to awaken to this something new, the force that meets it is one of fierce protection. It wants so much to know it is safe. It wants to know you will take care of it. So in this moment, as you breathe, as you notice all of what is here, send your body a message of love and support. Let it know that you thank it for protecting you in all the ways it has. And breathe. Our body tells stories through pictures, rememberings, sounds, movements, and color. So listen as you breathe to the poetry of your body. I want you to imagine that inside of you there is a staircase or a ladder that begins at the top of your head and extends all the way down to your heels. And that the breath is supporting you as you choose to either descend or ascend. going to just slowly use your inner gaze as the footsteps that climb or descend that ladder. Stopping at each floor to take a look around. And just noticing what's here. Maybe looking at where there might be some light. Maybe there's some shadows. Maybe there's some wisdom. Maybe there's some pain. And just beginning to move through the ladder of energy that lives inside your body. And begin to feel what it's like to feel this space inside of you in this way, with this image, with this breath. And we're going to welcome all of the floors inside of you, all of the mysterious spaces of your soul, all of the wisdom you carry, all of the remembering. And maybe you can imagine as you descend or ascend this staircase, this ladder, what it might be like. Take a visit to your pelvis. It will just let you journey there in this moment with your breath and your inner gaze. Draw breath into these spaces with even more attention, with even more intention. And we're going to step off that ladder or that staircase. And we're going to get into a boat. And that boat lives in the container of your pelvis. And that vessel that you're in, inside this other vessel, inside this other vessel, that little boat that you're climbing into, I want you to just imagine what it's made out of. You can imagine the color of it, its texture, its size. You're just climbing in and settling into these waters, but you're buoyed by this vessel, this boat. And you're beginning to notice how the water moves here. As you're in this bowl of life, this life-giving energy and water, as you're beautifully contained by this vessel and breathing, just take a look around. And maybe you take a moment to just lean back in this boat and breathe. Notice the energy that's moving in you right now. How does it move? I can feel it in my body. I can feel the energy of this collective moving in me. Notice it moving in you. And if your body wants to move with it, let it. If there's some shaking or trembling, if your legs feel vibration or heat, just breathe. You are waking up energy, and that is never easy. The body has been holding so much for so long that sometimes when we awaken to what's here, it can shake us up. So breathe, breathe, however your body needs to be. Know you are so loved and protected right now. You can see points of light inside of you guiding your vessel as you are with also the shadows that live here. And use those hands if you need them as you breathe into these spaces. And if you're noticing maybe places of holding, if maybe as you're traveling through these waters in your vessel, you see a little stone, or maybe a place in that stream of life in you that is blocked. Just meeting it with curiosity and asking if it has a message that your spirit needs to hear right now. Oh, you're doing so beautifully as you breathe right now. And awaken to whatever is here, whatever you're feeling. Welcome it if you can. And do whatever this body needs. Trust in your inner wisdom. I see such a spectacular circle of guides here. The energy of fire, the guardians of magic and power. I see a lioness, and I see an eagle. And there is soil deep under the waters of this energy. This water energy that you are swirling in, there is deep, rich soil. And I would invite you to feel into the soil as it meets your body, whether that's through the feet, through your thighs, your back, the base of your head. Know Mother Earth is here to receive the energy that no longer needs to live inside of you in this way. And breathe. All right, beautiful beings. Your pelvis is asking you to get serious here for a second. There is life that wants to be birthed from here. There's something you are longing to create. There is a part of you that is being denied her or his or their birthright to pleasure. And this body does not want to be denied any longer. Can you breathe into that? The waters are moving now. They're swirling. There's a spiral energy here in your pelvis. And when that spiral begins to go, that channel begins to open, it wants to move upwards into you, up your spine. It wants to move up, 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 up. It wants to reach your heart. It wants to unlock your heart. So use that breath. might be sound that wants to be emitted from you here. You can let that come through too. Don't be afraid. Remember, your jaw and your pelvis, as your pelvis opens, as those muscles relax, the jaw has to let go as well because they are connected. So if you're going to hold back in your jaw, then you're restricting the energy that wants to flow in your pelvis. So you can do you can stick your tongue out and do your lion's breath, that lioness in you. If you're not ready to do that, feel your mouth on the inside. Feel the tongue on the inside. Feel the hinges of your jaw on the inside. Feel your teeth. They all have stories. Let them. Just let a little through. Yes, and there might be more emotion that comes now, and that's okay. It's okay, guys. It's beautiful. Let it flow. Let it flow. Whatever's here. As beautiful beings, you are safe and protected to feel this energy, but you must invite the release. Your hands might need some shaking out right now. You can let that be. You can let your jaw open and close. We're gonna ready ourselves for a little screaming. That was kind of a warm up. Your heart might be feeling some tenderness. That's okay. So again, beautiful beings, we're gonna do a little screaming here. And that scream, she might want to come out pretty fiercely, so be prepared. But if you're not ready to let the energy of that completely make sound, feel it on the inside. Feel it on the inside. I'm going to feel it on the inside because if I scream, then it cuts off all the music. So, beautiful beings, scream on the inside and see what happens if you scream on the inside or outside. Stay connected to your body. Feel your hands, feel your arms, feel your legs, and go. 1, 2, 3. And breathe. As all of those muscles contracted to let that scream move through you. Now notice the energy that is here as the muscles begin to soften. Maybe there's a little more space now. Breathe. Feel the channels that are open now. The way your body is remembering. Feel your back body. Feel your pelvis. Feel your legs. And breathe. Notice the inner experience of your body, the waters that live here. Our body is our home. We are of this earth. We might have been trained to forget that, but this is an invitation to remember. And whatever emotion is here, whatever images are here, whatever is swirling inside of you, can you just meet it, invite it in, welcome it, like a friend you haven't seen in so many years and missed so deeply. Give it the hug it's desperately wants. And you can really hug yourself right now, wrapping your arms around yourself. For when you do, your body doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know if it's being hugged from the outside or if it's being hugged from the inside. It receives it all the same. Breathe. On this boat that you're in, if you're still in that boat, or if maybe you've reached a shallow point of water where you decided to get out, where your feet could touch the water for a moment, where you could lay on the shore and feel the water rippling to your feet. I want you to imagine there is a white feather. It's been gifted to you by that eagle. And that white feather that is here is asking you, would you release whatever no longer is needed? Whatever you are ready to say goodbye to, will you place it gently on that feather? So take your time with that. Place whatever comes into your spirit on that feather. And when your body is ready, when your spirit is ready, knowing that there are angels here that will carry that feather, I want you to bring it to your lips. And I want you to kiss it gently into the sky. I want your breath to envelop that feather as it carries it on the wings of the angels and the eagles into the sky. And breathe now into the spaces that are free. We are coming close now as we've arrived to the shore, as we have connected to the sacred energy that lives inside of us, to resting in this energy and resting our breath. But before we do, we must laugh, because the vibrations of our laughter will help also to carry that feather further and further into the sky. On the count of 3, we will laugh together, this high frequency vibration. 3, 2, 1. And even if your arms just want to fly with that feather, just to be the eagle now, to be the wind now, to connect to that liberating energy, to your crown, the magic. Floating back into your body now, just seeing what's here. Bringing yourself back into this space. And what I'm going to invite you to do is rest your breath now. You've worked so hard to be here. I'm going to invite you to choose to climb into if you want to, or if you're comfortable on that riverbed, that's fine. But if you want to climb into a hammock, there's one here for you. It is of your making, of your design. It is of the fabric you choose, of the color you choose. It is woven by you and by all the ancestors, all the wise ones who have come before you, and all of those who go before you. It carries all the messages your spirit is meant to receive. All the rememberings lie here in this hammock. And I want you to just climb on in, knowing also that if you choose to just stay on that riverbed, Mother Earth has that wisdom too. And I want your body to receive the invitation to just melt into this holding. That your body and spirit know what it's like to be supported like this, to be connected like this, to be one with the fabric of the universe. And breathe easy, beautiful beings. In this hammock of life, on this earth, as you connect to the universal, here is where you receive the messages you are meant to receive in this moment at this time. So as your heart is open, as your being melts, as you imagine the muscles like clouds on a windy day just pulling away from the sky, imagine yourself just being a vessel to receive all of that which is here to be received by you, by all of us. We will journey here quietly now together for the rest of this practice. And I will come back in to bring you back from the ethers. Safe travels. I drop back in. And use my voice just to guide you back. I want you to look around inside your experience and just thank every messenger that came to visit you. How they showed up for you. And let them know that you'll be back again. And bring you back into the boat. You'll find your way through these waters, arriving to the staircase. And beginning to ascend to the heart, from the pelvis to your heart. One step at a time, slowly. Supported by all the elements that live inside of you. When you arrive to your heart, I want you to sit beside it. And in this moment, I want you to turn to your heart and send it a message it longs to hear. And that could be, thank you. That could be, I'm sorry. That could be, I love you. That could be, I will take such good care of you. That could be, I trust you. That could be, you inspire me. Just listen to what your heart needs to hear as you sit beside it. And as we slowly begin to awaken to ending this journey, I just want you to invite you to notice the space around you. Notice the quality of the air as it meets your skin. You can begin to move gently your body. Begin to dance your toes or your fingers. Begin to stretch out into the spaces around. And just slowly again, if you haven't done so already, at your own pace and own time, opening your eyes and just however posture you're in, whether it's on the floor or seated, just allowing a little twist to occur where your psoas, your hips, your waist, your shoulders, your eyes are just going to kind of twist in one direction and take in the space around you. And they're going to do that in their own pace and own time and come around to the other side and just check on them. Remembering you're here now. You were there then, you're here now. And what does here feel like? And just a final practice, whatever hand gesture you like to make, whether it's in prayer position, to your heart, to your pelvis, to your third eye, to your crown, whether it's a hug or just hands over heart like a butterfly. Bowing to yourself and each other in this moment. We're taking this journey together. Thanking yourself for all that you came into contact with. And my heart thanking yours for letting me guide you. We'll close this practice now, thanking all the guides, ancestors, archangels, animals, ancestors, the sun, the moon, the stars, Mother Earth, Father Sky, as they were here carrying us through this journey. We release them now and thank them for their presence. Thanking each other, our bodies and the bodies that came before us and the ones that'll go after. We close this circle with so much love for ourselves and for each other. Thank you. Thank you. So this practice, you know, it's not one you just pop up and just like, okay, anyhow, let's keep talking. So just know that it's a really slow coming up from coming back to space. So really take your time. This requires a lot of gentleness and care. I know that I tried to save some time here for us to come back together if there were any things that anyone wanted to share or questions. But most importantly, what I want to say about this practice is because it's such a deep journey, it can be such a deep journey, not for all, but for some, even if it's just breathing and getting to be with your body can be a lot sometimes. That water is really important. Hydrating that energy that we just expended is incredibly important. You might begin to get the messages that came to you might elicit some creativity. It might elicit some desire for more nourishment. It might elicit want to get quiet. It might make you want a warm bath. I really invite you to just listen to the energy that you came into contact with and its messages and take good care of it. There's a lot of energy in this space tonight. I could really feel it. Yeah, so Priscilla, I'm going to hand it over to you. Just you can take over, but obviously, again, just thank you all for letting me guide you.
Yes, Jess. Wow, I'm like, Lulu and I are very grateful. Thank you so much. Yeah, if anybody has any questions or anything that they would like to, or anything that came up for them, if you want, we wanted to leave some space for you all. So I'll give a couple if there's anything that comes up. And if you feel like it's something that you need a little bit more time, you can always email me, and I'm happy to pass on the question to Jessica. Okay. Oh, you're getting a lot of love here. You're getting here.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I think we are getting a lot of love here because this is a we. This is a we, all of us. So thank you for this beautiful journey. Yeah, you know, things might come up. A lot of times the questions that come up have either to do with like, wow, I came into confirming clarity. Thank you, Eileen. Yeah, like there's like messages that come in, or you're like, what was that about? Or like some sensations that feel confusing, or some challenges that you found during the practice and stuff. And so I always leave, you know, I welcome direct messages if it's easier. You know, I think Nicholas shared at the beginning our contact info. So if there's stuff that comes up about post this practice as it can, because this is like, you know, again, when we think about metabolizing energy, metabolizing what's inside our bodies, it unravels slowly. And then over time, we start to notice things and go like, what is that about? Why did I remember that? Or why did that come in? So I really do welcome, like, truly reaching out. If there's an impulse to do that, don't shy away from it. Yeah. Oh my God, I would really love to talk more about that. Is it Anusha? Yeah, Anusha, about the jaw and pelvis connection. There's so much here. Again, like I said, books are written on it. It's like literally, it's literally that, and they are the same shape, they are two containers that are the same shape, and the spirituality that lives in there, the sacral, the sacrum, all the things. So like it's in and of itself, it's a very big thing. And I'd love to share more. So, you know, if you're curious and you want more information from my body, reach out to me and we can chat for sure. But I can also share, if it's okay, Pris, I could share with you the books I connected with that were really helpful, so people can read.
Thank you, Priscilla, and thank you, Jessica, for this wonderful journey. And if you can share the books, that's great. I would love to learn about them. And I would like to thank everybody who attended. I posted Jessica's, Priscilla's website, the Salon's website, and also the upcoming sessions, which are on February 24th, March 31st, April 28th, May 26th, and June 30th. And this series is made possible with the support of the Glock Fellows Program of the Arts, the Interior Beauty Salon, and the University of California, Riverside Dance Department. And if you would like to donate, you're welcome to do so. That helps La Pelvis Project remain alive. Whatever you want, whatever you can, it's fine. And if you can, if not, next time. Thank you so much, and continue to take care of your pelvis. I feel like I'm talking and thinking with mine. It's very strange because the voice is coming from my solar plexus and through the vocal cords, but it's almost like it's la pelvis that's talking. I can feel it. Thank you very much. I don't know if you'd like to say something, Priscilla and Jessica, to close. May each one of you be surrounded by beauty. I'll leave you with Priscilla and Jessica.
Yeah.
I just also want to jump in and say thank you all so much for coming, joining us on our first gathering. I feel so much love from you all. I'm so happy to see your faces, some of you that I got to see your faces earlier. And I'm excited that we're going to keep this going. Our next gathering in February is with Ms. Colette Eloa, who is an African diaspora dance specialist. And so she will be talking from the pelvis, specifically with the pelvis and the spine in African dance. So I think we have a lot of really great souls coming together who understand and really believe in the power of the pelvis. Thank you all so much for coming and showing up, and I can't wait to keep sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, beauties. Thank you, everyone, for joining on that river ride. Yeah. Much love to you all. Much love to you all.